Hello and happy midweek greetings from Radically Rational and radicallyrational.com. Round one of the NFL Draft from Kansas City, home of Mendiola's World Champion Chiefs, tomorrow night. This seems to happen every year and it's disgusting. I am really angry about the late, clandestine, cowardly Black Ops attack on the reputation and performance of former Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud. This is not right. Stroud has been universally regarded as at least one of the two best quarterbacks available, along with Alabama's Bryce Young. There's been very little dissent. And now, guess what? On essentially the eve of the draft, there are reports floating out there that Stroud performed poorly on some tests that were designed to measure his ability to, quote, process information. Now, if that sounds a lot like the old black quarterback trope to you, it does to me. This is highly offensive and this is wrong. This is an attempt to damage a young man's future. C.J. Stroud has put his tape down. It's there for you to see. Beyond that, have you forgotten the way he made essentially an NFL caliber Georgia Bulldog defense look like clowns for most of the national semifinal game last year? So Stroud goes to the combine and puts on a show, and then he reprises it later at his OSU Pro Day. And now this. And you wonder what's motivating it. It could be something like, there's some teams that are picking lower in the first round and they want Stroud, so they're trying to scare everybody off. Or even more cynically, this could be the work of, I don't know, an agent for another quarterback who's trying to move his quarterback up. I will not engage in speculation beyond that point, but this is really a bad thing, and I condemn it in the strongest possible terms. Now, the Panthers turned up the intrigue dial a little bit yesterday because they say that there is a consensus now on who they're going to draft with that number one overall pick. They're just not telling anybody. Okay. All right, so I checked out a lot of final mock drafts, because I can't help myself. And a lot of them have B.J. Robinson falling all the way to the Patriots at 14. Bijan Robinson, the 14th best football player? I don't think so. Just make a note of this. Now that Dan Snyder is officially out of the way, that means the Arizona Cardinals' Michael Bidwill has ascended to slimiest owner in the NFL. In the words of Jalen Rose, Bidwill is a habitual line stepper. Now, I don't want to be cynical about this. I got my issues with Aaron Rodgers from time to time. I can just do a face palm, I can roll my eyes a little bit, but that was a truly beautiful farewell message that he crafted to the Packers and their fans yesterday, and I don't doubt the sincerity of it for a moment. All right, this is interesting. The portal, the college football portal, giveth and it taketh away. The Houston Cougars didn't see this coming. Did you, BB?
Guess
Cougar
not.
alum? No. All right, their stud running back, Alton McCaskill IV, he's supposed to come back next year. This guy's a true stud, and all of a sudden he says, I think I'll be entering the portal ether. I don't know where he's going. Hadn't been disclosed. I do know that if he wants to, he could stay right there at home in Houston because we got a blue helmet and a blue jersey that'll fit him just fine. Felt bad for the Tampa Bay Rays. Don't be wrong. I'm glad the Astros shut them out last night 5-0, ending that 14-game winning streak to start a regular season, which is truly remarkable. So obviously they're a great team. And they were playing the defending world champions. And there were 9,916 spectators present for that game. All right, so being an old guy from Lockhart, there's some acronyms I'm not familiar with. I get on social media and I see the acronym SMH. Oh, SMH, what the hell? So I finally asked, and it's shaking my head. Well, I spent a great deal of time on Tuesday SMHing for this reason. The most common and popular defense that I heard for Tucker Carlson was, quote, "He tells the truth. He tells it like it is." SMH. Let me get this straight. The lyingest, no goodest, absolutely street gutter low prevaricator, more than anybody in America not named Donald J. Trump. You defend him because he tells the truth and tells it like it is. And this in microcosm, folks, is why we do Radically Rational. Because the same people who say they covet the truth literally can't handle the truth. And they've tried to redefine and mystify the truth. The truth is simply anybody who will tell them anything they want to hear because it fits their conspiracy theories and their fantasies about who they want to victimize. Now, true confession time. I used to do that. And so did you. And then we all turned 5. SMH. Okay, might as well talk about it. I don't know if you'd call it the elephant in the room, but let's address it. Yeah, Biden's an old guy. Biden is an old guy. Whether or not that has affected his performance to date, I'll let you fight it out. I do know that I don't want Joe Biden or anybody else, 87 years old by the time that term would end, being the head of this country. And this point was driven home to me yesterday, and I'm not trying to be unkind. But early yesterday morning, when Biden announced that he's running again with that video, okay, I actually thought a lot of the message was inspiring, and I agreed with it. And then I heard his voice, and it's getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And I have always said this, as we age, the thing that gives us the way the most is the way our voice deteriorates and weakens. And that was happening. As I've said so many times in the past, you ain't geezin till you're wheezin. And Joe Biden is wheezing. Of course, there's some other problems on the other side as well. So now we got terrorists killing terrorists in Afghanistan, and I'm never opposed to a good dead terrorist, but we've got to keep an eye on this. There's one organization offing the head of another organization that was responsible for the deaths of 15 American soldiers during our chaotic last-minute exit from Afghanistan. And let me be clear about this. I'm not saying getting out of Afghanistan was a bad idea. You've got to get out sometime. But I am saying that the way it was handled was completely botched. And Biden deserves the criticism that he is getting on that front. I completely agree. On the other hand, he's being denied credit for a lot of really remarkable things that he's accomplished, despite all the people trying to keep him from doing that. And finally, it is day one in the trial of that civil lawsuit in which writer E. Jean Carroll is claiming that Donald Trump raped her back in the 1990s. I want you to listen to this, and there's no escaping this conclusion. So far, Trump's verbal defense, his alibi, his way of saying this isn't true, has been, "She's not my type." Mr. Trump, not your type to rape? Because that's what you just said. We're radically rational.